ships embodying humanity's most cutting-edge technology return to Pandora, driven by human greed. How will Jake resist the human invasion this time? More than 10 years have passed since the previous story. The planet Pandora is still shrouded in dense mists, but subtle changes have taken place. Jake has been promoted to the chieftain of the tribe, and he and Neytiri have 3 lovely children. They have also adopted Dr. Grace's orphan daughter as their own, after humans evacuated Pandora. A handful of scientists who sympathized with the Gnostics chose to stay. Among them was a young boy named Spider, an orphan of the war, too young to board the cryogenic pods. Over the long years of companionship, the children forged a deep friendship. Everyone naively thought this happiness would last forever, but fate quietly set a turning point. A bright star appeared, disrupting their lives and signaling humanity's return to Pandora. Soon, under the shadow of spaceships, Pandora received another unexpected visit. Raging flames devoured entire forests, sparing neither beasts nor quiet plants. Witnessing the destruction of her beloved home once again, Neytiri was overcome with boundless sorrow. Humans have returned with more advanced weapons and armor. Their ambition is no longer satisfied with Mirror. They seek to colonize Pandora outright. The regrouped human forces have launched a comeback. Stronger than ever before, they have mastered cutting-edge cloning technology. The colonel who fell in battle has been reborn in an avatar body, vowing to return to Pandora and take revenge on Jake. With humanity's formidable technological strength, in just over a year, they built a massive base on Pandora. Jake knows he must not let humans run amok on Pandora. To defend his homeland, he often leads his people in attacking human or transport trains, disrupting their supply chains. Faced with the Gnostics' surprise attacks, humans are helpless against them. The Gnostics won a quick victory and returned triumphantly, loaded with spoils, yet they had no idea that the real crisis had only just begun. At the same time, the colonel arrived on Pandora secretly. Jake's recent attacks had been fierce, causing repeated damage to their supply routes. Shortly after, the base commander decided to send the colonel and his team to infiltrate Pandora's jungles, to locate and destroy Jake's hideout. The commander only knew that Jake was hiding in his secret cave in the Hallelujah Mountains. Though they had planned counterattacks repeatedly, they were inevitably hindered by the animals there. Now, the colonel possessed a body identical to the Gnostics, allowing him and his team to resist the dangers of jungle beasts and move freely through the rugged terrain. Soon after, the colonel's team embarked on their journey into Pandora's jungles, arriving at the old battleground where Jake and the colonel had fought fiercely years before. At this moment, a group of children playing in the jungle accidentally spotted a suspicious footprint. The footprint sparked their curiosity, and they speculated it might be related to the avatars. Following the footprint deeper into the jungle, they stumbled upon the colonel's team. The avatars were dressed in camouflage uniforms and armed with machine guns. Jake's second son, Nedium, sensed impending danger and quickly reported the situation to his father. Jake knew the malice of the human avatars, so he told the children to quietly evacuate quickly. Terribly, danger arrived nonetheless. The children were captured by the colonel's team. The colonel immediately recognized them as Jake's children. He also sensed that there seemed to be some connection between Spider and himself.
I'll be damned. I figured they sent you back to Earth.
They can't put babies in cryo, dipshit.
The colonel knew they couldn't stay here any longer, and sent a distress signal to the base, requesting backup, but unfortunately, it was too late. Jake and his group had tracked them down, and an arrow pierced through the enemy ranks. The battle began. Seeing the familiar sight of that arrow cutting through the air, the colonel recognized it as Neytiri's arrow volley. He spoke as if addressing Neytiri directly, but it was a distraction to order his soldiers to launch a surprise attack from behind. In this critical moment, Jake's eldest son, Nedium, rushed to save his mother from danger. The other children took advantage of the chaos to flee one after another. As they fled in panic, a bullet fired by the colonel hit Spider. He fell to the ground and was captured by the colonel, who escorted him back to their base. Upon arriving at the base, he was tortured in the laboratory. In an attempt to force him to reveal Jake's hiding place, Spider was tormented to the brink of collapse. At this moment, the colonel halted the brutal interrogation, claiming he had his own way to find the hideout. The colonel had long known that Spider was his son from years ago, But he deliberately told Spider, "I am not Miles Quaritch himself, merely an avatar vessel carrying Miles Quaritch's memories." He then showed Spider Miles' relics, offering freedom from the base in exchange for his cooperation. Desperate to escape his current predicament, Spider had to agree. On the other side, Jake feared that Spider might reveal the tribe's hiding place, putting everyone in danger, so Jake decided to resign as chieftain, and quietly left the tribe with his family. After a long, non-stop flight, they finally reached the territory of another tribe, the Metkangina clan. Countless islands dotted the area, each a breathtaking paradise. Unlike the forest Nasics, the Metkangina had larger, more agile bodies, and distinct skin tones. Upon learning that Jake was the Torok Makto, the Metkangina chieftain revealed he had long heard of Jake's fame. Understanding that Jake had come seeking refuge, the chieftain warmly accepted them. Jake was from the forest tribe, while the Metkangina were people of the sea. Forest skills were of little use in the ocean, so to integrate into this new world quickly, Jake and his family had to learn to coexist with the sea. Compared to the vast land forests, the deep, boundless ocean was like an unknown realm, filled with unique and fascinating wonders. Two completely different clans, they opened their hearts to each other, supporting one another and coexisting in harmony. The Metkangina had their aquatic allies, the Ilu, which could move swiftly and nimbly through the ocean. Jake's second son, Loeke, tried to tame an Ilu, but a wave suddenly pushed him back to the shore. At the same time, as the Torok Makto, Jake set his sights on taming the unruly Skimwing as his new mount.
That's it. Okay. Steady.
In this azure world, Kiri possesses a unique gift unlike anyone else. Like a daughter of the sea, she quickly forms a deep bond with the Ilu. Together, they traverse the vast ocean, attracting the attention of underwater creatures, who seem to hold her in boundless affection and reverence. The scene shifts, guided by Spider. The colonel arrives at the Ikran nesting site, successfully taming his own flying companion. After intense training, everyone masters the secrets of surviving in the ocean. Jake also hones his skills, becoming adept at riding the Skimwing and gliding freely through the blue waves. The next day, Kiri is inspecting the ocean on the beach when she is insulted by the chieftain's son.
Are you some kind of freak?
He asked if you are a freak.
Look at these hands. I mean, look at them. Hey!
Seeing this, Jake's second son Loeke steps forward at once, getting into a confrontation with him. His elder brother, Medium, joins the fight upon witnessing the scene. After learning the truth later, Jake severely scolds the brothers for their impulsiveness, ordering Loeke to apologize to the chieftain's son. After all, his family was staying with the Metkangina clan, and maintaining good relations with the tribe was fundamental. Loeke obeys his father's order, finding the chieftain's son and offering a sincere apology. At first, the chieftain's son is somewhat distant, but he still accepts Loeke's apology. He suggests taking Loeke fishing beyond the reefs. Loeke sees this as a journey of reconciliation, hoping to fully integrate into the Metkangina's daily life through this opportunity. But things don't go as smoothly as he imagined. Shortly after, they arrive at a remote location. They tell Loeke to try catching fish over there, then leave while he's not paying attention. When Loeke turns around, his companions are already gone without a trace. No matter how he calls, there's no response. Just then, a predatory monster called an Akula suddenly appears, to escape the Akula's relentless pursuit. Loeke weaves through the gaps in the coral reefs repeatedly, using the intricate coral terrain as a shield. When the Akula finally fades into the distance, Loeke narrowly escapes danger. Just as he's about to surface for air, fate plays a cruel trick. The Akula reappears. In the critical moment, a mighty Tulkun bursts out of the waves, rescuing Loeke from danger. After the Tulkun defeats the Akula, Loeke falls into the deep sea due to lack of oxygen. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself lying on the Tulkun's back. It was the Tulkun that saved him. Loeke is deeply grateful, expressing his sincere thanks to the Tulkun through sign language. The Tulkun seems to understand his thoughts, letting out a deep, resonant song, as if echoing his gratitude. Loeke then notices a human fishing tag left on the Tulkun, and removes it. From this moment on, a friendship transcending racial boundaries is forged between the human boy and the Tulkun. As night falls, Jake, having learned everything, hurries to bring his son back. The chieftain realizes that his own son is to blame for everything. Unexpectedly, Loeke doesn't blame him. Instead, he takes the initiative to say it's his own fault. He insisted on going, and it has nothing to do with Aonung. He knows what it feels like to disappoint his family. This act unexpectedly eases the tension between the two. The next day, Loeke shares his experience with his friends, When the conversation turns to the Tulkun missing a fin, the chieftain's daughter Cyria recognizes it as Payakan. It was exiled by the Tulkun clan on charges of killing its own kind, but based on what Loeke knows about it, he refuses to believe Payakan is such a creature, so Loeke decides to go back alone to find out the truth. He arrives at the Azure Sea, locates the Tulkun Payakan, and asks what really happened back then. Payakan wears a sorrowful expression.
I trust you. You can trust me.
A deeper friendship is forged between them from then on. Cyria leads her friends to the Metkanyina clan's most sacred ancestor cove. There, they witness the Metkanyina's spirit tree. At the moment Kiri connects with Iwa, she encounters her biological mother, Dr. Grace. At this instant, her excitement is beyond words. She eagerly asks her mother who her father is. Just as her mother is about to speak, an inexplicable divine force pulls her back to reality. It turns out Kiri is having an epileptic seizure in the real world, her body trembling violently uncontrollably. To save the dying Kiri, Jake hurries to seek help from the humans in the laboratory, but they are equally helpless to help Kiri. Fortunately, the Metkanyina's high priestess steps in just in time. Under her care, Kiri gradually regains consciousness. The Tulkun have a long and arduous migration journey. It is their grand annual migration. All Tulkun cross the vast ocean, overcoming turbulent waves and countless obstacles, and finally return to their homeland full of hope. This is the ancestral land where the Tulkun clan has lived for generations, and the home jointly guarded by the Metkanyina and the Tulkun. Only here do the Tulkun feel safe and free. They and the Metkanyina share their innermost thoughts with each other, but the peace of the sea will not last long. Human helicopters are approaching. The colonel has tracked down Jake's hiding place. The Metkanyina sea area is dotted with hundreds of islands, each belonging to different clans. Searching them all will undoubtedly be arduous and tedious. To find Jake as soon as possible, the colonel first visits the Metkanyina villages, searching each clan one by one. The Metkanyina steadfastly keep Jake's whereabouts a secret. Frustrated by his failure to find Jake, the colonel flies into a rage and burns down the entire village. He then proceeds to burn down every village, until he realizes that blind searching is by no means a good strategy.
If we turn up the heat, he's just gonna keep running. We gotta draw him out.
Loeke seeks out the Tulkun Payakan again, hoping to understand its true heart. He connects with Payakan physically, merging his consciousness with its, linked by a spiritual bond between them. He witnesses the memory of Payakan's mother being attacked by humans. Back then, it had sought revenge for its mother. It rallied fellow Tulkun and the Metkanyina clan, launching a massive assault on the human hunting ships together. After this extremely brutal battle, Payakan was the sole survivor, but its survival sparked resentment among its own kind, who blamed Payakan for dooming the others. Thus, it was exiled from the clan. A deeper connection is forged between Loeke and the Tulkun Payakan. Payakan's story spreads among the chieftains and elders. In everyone's eyes, it is seen as the root cause of that disaster. Thus, the Tulkun clan opposes any contact with this murderer. Amid accusations and misunderstandings, only Loeke truly understands the injustice and suffering Payakan bears. That sense of helplessness and deep-seated pain resonates with his own.
And they were all killed. But by the Sky People, not by him. He's not a killer.
On the other side, the colonel knows there is a spiritual bond between the Metkanyina and the Tulkun. He understands that slaughtering the Tulkun is equivalent to attacking the Metkanyina themselves. For this very reason, the colonel devises a plan to hunt the Tulkun to lure Jake out. First, his team implants tracking devices into the Tulkun, using advanced technology to accurately locate the group's hiding place. Immediately after, depth charges are dropped into the sea, scaring the Tulkun group into scattering and being forced to surface. The team uses sonic cannon technology, using sound waves to isolate a female Tulkun from the rest. A submarine stealthily approaches the target, quickly firing a specially designed harpoon that pierces the female Tulkun with pinpoint accuracy. The airbag on the harpoon inflates instantly, its powerful buoyancy lifting the female Tulkun upward involuntarily, until her body is bathed in sunlight. At this moment, patrol boats on the sea are already on standby, firing additional restraining harpoons at the female Tulkun to restrict her movement.
Back full on.
Cornered by the humans, the female Tulkun finally exhausted all her strength, floating helplessly on the sea surface. Soon after, a massive fishing vessel slowly hauled her aboard. The humans cruelly carved a path into the female Tulkun's cranial cavity, extracting an extremely rare liquid from within. After in-depth research, scientists discovered that this liquid had the effect of slowing human aging. Its value was estimated to be as high as $70 million, which became another reason for humans to hunt the Tulkun. After extracting the liquid, the humans deliberately threw the female Tulkun's corpse back into the sea. Soon, Jake and his group spotted the female Tulkun's remains on the shore. Her body was covered in wounds, her once glowing eyes now dull and lifeless, silently exposing the cruelty of human actions. The High Priestess was overwhelmed with grief at the sight. The deceased female, Tulkan, was her confidant, and an indescribable bond had existed between them.
She waited many breeding cycles to have this calf. The clan was so happy for her. What is this, Tanawari? What is this?
Jake noticed the tracking device on the female Tulkan and realized humans were the killers. When he returned to the tribe, the chieftain was already gathering the clan, intent on launching a counterattack against the humans. Jake realized this was all a trap set by the colonel, designed to lure him out of hiding. Jake pulled out the tracking device embedded in the Tulkan's body, revealing to everyone that it was a human conspiracy, the real weapon threatening the Tulkan. He offered to help remove all the tracking devices, emphasizing that keeping the Tulkan alive was the top priority. Upon hearing this, Loeke hurried to find Payakan, but it was too late. Payakan had already been pinpointed by the human's tracking device, and the colonel's warships were approaching at full speed. The situation was critical. Loeke reported the information to his father in the tribe. After hearing the news, Jake knew this. War was inevitable. The entire clan mobilized quickly, preparing for battle and mounting their mounts one after another, racing toward the sea area where Payakan was located. At this moment, the children had pulled out the tracking device from Payakan, but the colonel's men were already closing in on their hiding spot. The eldest son Nedium stepped forward, picked up a harpoon, and lured the enemy away, buying time for the others to escape. Immediately after, the human submarines followed, closely and split into two teams, trying to catch them all in one fell swoop. Seizing the opportunity, the humans threw a massive fishing net, and Loeke and the others accidentally fell into it, taken prisoner and brought aboard the colonel's warship. Jake led the clan to the edge of the battlefield, only to find his children trapped. Using the communication device around Loeke's neck, the colonel demanded that Jake come alone, or he would kill Loeke. Jake knew that the colonel's real target was him. There was no avoiding the showdown. He had to face it head-on. At the critical moment, Payakan leaped out of the deep sea, and the horn of battle was sounded.
Open fire! Open fire! Brother! Go, go, go! Bloody hell!
The Metkanyina and Jake mount their skimwings, launching a lightning-fast charge. With their strength and agility, the Metkanyina deliver a sudden and unexpected blow to the enemy. The skimwings, in their majestic form, trace smooth arcs across the sky. Caught off guard by the surprise attack, the human patrol boats descend into chaos. Neytiri also joins the battle, mounting Hurricane and soaring freely through the azure sky. She knocks an arrow, locks onto her target, and sends it piercing through the air to strike the vital spot with pinpoint accuracy. Witnessing these arrogant invaders, the Tulkan Payakan re-enters the fray. It deliberately reveals itself to divert the humans' attention, luring them into throwing harpoons at it. It then tightens the ropes, taking the enemy on a thrilling oceanic ride. The human ships are tossed about wildly, as the enemy loses control one after another. Just as everyone watches Payakan drift away, they hastily prepare to reload and capture it, but Payakan suddenly reappears like a ghost, successfully subduing the group of humans. On the other side, Spider joins the fight inside the ship. He grabs a nearby fire extinguisher, smashing it wildly against the ship's equipment. Under Spider's destruction, the ship's systems are overwhelmed and completely disabled. The humans have to abandon the ship and flee. At this moment, the eldest son, Nedium, seizes the opportunity, leaping onto the ship and rescuing his friends from danger. Just as everyone is about to evacuate, Loeke suddenly insists on going back for Spider on the ship. Unexpectedly, just as they turn to leave, Kiri is captured by the enemy. Witnessing this, the group abandons their escape plan, turning back to rescue Kiri. Loeke and his friends successfully rescue Spider, and all seems to be going well, when a sudden bullet hits Nedium without mercy. Nedium doesn't survive the fatal shot, forever departing from the hustle and bustle of the world. Mother Neytiri is overcome with heart-wrenching grief. At this very moment, the colonel's voice comes through Jake's communicator again. Just like before, the colonel demands that Jake come alone, offering to exchange his life for his daughters. Jake knows this is a fight to the death. He pulls Neytiri, who is drowning in grief, to her feet, encouraging her to pull herself together. The battle isn't over yet, and their captured daughter is counting on them to rescue her. Upon hearing these words, she immediately awakens her maternal instinct, channeling her sorrow into strength to make a final end with the colonel. Guided by Spider, Jake sneaks aboard the ship, with the roar of a grenade, the ship suffers another round of destruction. Jake knows that keeping the chaos going is the only way to buy a chance for the rescue mission. With their tacit understanding, the Colonel's team quickly falls apart, with casualties everywhere. Seeing that defeat is inevitable, the Colonel immediately presses a knife to Kiri's throat, using her as leverage against Jake. To protect his beloved daughter's safety, Jake has to slowly lower his weapon. At this critical juncture, Spider runs over and begs the Colonel to let Kiri go. At this point, Neytiri has lost her temper, grabbing Spider in the same way and proposing a hostage exchange. Faced with Spider's safety, the Colonel is indifferent at first. He knows he isn't truly related to Spider, he merely carries the memories of Colonel Miles Quaritch. But when Neytiri actually starts to harm Spider, some deep-seated emotion in the Colonel is finally stirred. He reluctantly chooses to back down and agrees to the hostage exchange. Perhaps the Colonel's memories still hold the paternal love for his son.
Guys, Duke.
I owe you a death.
Mama. Mom, please. Mama.
As everyone evacuates, the Colonel closes in on Jake again, threatening him, saying he will not stop here. He will return to kill Jake and his entire family. Jake can no longer contain his anger and charges forward, engaging the Colonel in a fight between men. This seemingly fated confrontation finally reaches its climax. Flames ruthlessly devour the surroundings, causing the ship to gradually lose its balance. Those who had escaped to safety have to return to the ship to rescue others. The daughter is accidentally pulled into the cabin, and Neytiri, as her mother, jumps in right after her. The ship is on the verge of capsizing, and both the daughter and Neytiri struggle desperately to climb upward. Trapped in the predicament, on the other side, the Colonel clings tightly to Jake, making the battle extremely critical. At the moment when lives hang in the balance, the ship quickly sinks into the sea. Amidst the chaos and shaking, Jake narrowly breaks free from the confinement. He seizes the opportunity to circle behind the Colonel, clasping both arms tightly around his neck. The Colonel eventually succumbs to exhaustion and sinks into the boundless deep sea. But the danger isn't yet over. The cabin is quickly engulfed by the surging seawater, leaving everyone trapped with no way out. Jake also gradually loses consciousness due to lack of oxygen, sinking slowly into the sea. At this life-or-death moment, Loeke, Kiri, and Spider appear like divine soldiers descending from heaven. They divide their tasks decisively and search for their families in the water. Loeke quickly spots his father in the water, using all his strength to pull him toward the surface, temporarily snatching his father back from death. While searching for Jake, Spider discovers the Colonel trapped in the cabin. Fate compels him to turn around, rescuing the Colonel from danger. Perhaps it is the unbreakable bond of blood that drives him. On the other side, Kiri, relying on her ability to communicate with marine spirits, summons dazzling bioluminescent deep-sea creatures. Like stars, they illuminate the entire cabin as bright as day, lighting the way to escape for her family. Guided by this light, everyone is safely rescued. After Spider brings the Colonel to the shore, the Colonel intends to take Spider back to Earth with him. But Spider politely refuses. The grievances between them are settled, and they go their separate ways. The Colonel eventually embarks on a lonely journey back. In Spider's heart, this homeland has long since become his home. At the end of the story, the eldest son Nedium rests forever in this lush forest of living creatures. His fearless sacrifice and courage will be forever etched in our memories. Iwa will also let his deeds be passed down by word of mouth, making it a brilliant chapter in the tribe's long history. The film ends here. Avatar, The Way of Water presents a stunning visual feast, extending the story of Pandora from the rainforest to the deep sea. In the collision of technological innovation and humanistic reflection, it creates an ecological epic that is both an industrial benchmark and a reflection of real-world issues. It may not be flawless, but with its unique depth and foresight, it has become an indispensable landmark in contemporary commercial genre films. Of course, it is undeniable that the film has obvious shortcomings in narrative. The standard 3-act structure is somewhat rigid, the Colonel's revenge motive is simplistic, and some plot developments rely on coincidences. Some viewers even joke that the first hour tells the story, the second hour shows off technology, and the third hour recreates Titanic. Though playful, it points out the imbalance in narrative rhythm, yet these flaws don't overshadow its core value. That's all for today's commentary. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel. See you next time.